And Simon Marks has been watching this very closely. He has been talking with us from Washington, D.C. He's here again. Good to see you, Simon. So on one side, we've got Donald Trump solidifying his status really as the comeback kid. And then there's Nikki Haley, whose window of opportunity is quickly narrowing. Tell us, Simon, could the last woman standing in the way of Mr. Trump's Republican nomination be ready to stand down?
Yasmin, it has got to be a nerve-wracking evening at Nikki Haley's campaign headquarters down in South Carolina, where she's watching these results come in, because it is apparent that there is only one state that she might stand a chance of winning. It is in Vermont. 64% of the votes have been counted, and there's only 150 votes or so separating Donald Trump from Nikki Haley. The New York Times has crunched all the numbers and is projecting that Nikki Haley will eke out a victory in the state. It's her only hope of winning a state tonight, because across the board, Donald Trump is massively ahead in every single other Super Tuesday state, and in some of them ahead by margins of between 40 and 60 percentage points over Nikki Haley. So she's got a big decision to make whatever happens in Vermont. She has to decide whether she's going to stay in the race and continue spending money and travelling the country on what is clearly a futile bid now to try and derail Donald Trump's presidential hopes of becoming the Republican Party's nominee. Now, there are reasons why she may choose to soldier on, and one of them is to position herself as an alternative to Donald Trump if fate delivers any kind of unexpected outcome for the former president between now and November, or simply to keep her political capital available to her for a possible run in 2028. Or she may say she's done enough and she may decide to stand aside. But it's unclear whether we're going to get an announcement from her tonight as they continue watching the rest of these results come in.
Also, let's switch now to the Democratic camp, where the president seems to be scoring several early wins despite the efforts by the activists to drum up the so-called uncommitted vote. Did that gain enough traction to send the message across, Simon?
Well, it gained traction in Michigan last week because 13% of Democrats in Michigan voted uncommitted rather than voting for Joe Biden. That was seen as a protest vote against the President of the United States. But support for uncommitted in those states where it's an option tonight appears really to have fallen away. And I think at the White House, after days of really awful headlines that were essentially resulting from the New York Times weekend poll that showed not only Donald Trump 5 points ahead of Joe Biden nationally, but Joe Biden losing 10% of his supporters from 2020 to Joe Biden in 2024. At the White House tonight, they will be viewing the results of the Democratic primaries and caucuses with great glee, because genuinely it will show, they will argue, that the party is aligned behind Joe Biden and increasingly unified around him. But questions remain about the voters' view of Joe Biden, with so many voters saying that he is too old to be campaigning to stay in the Oval Office until he's 86. So it's a good night for Joe Biden, but he's by no means out of the political woods.
Simon Marks, thank you very much for speaking with us from Washington, D.C.